What's up, everybody? It's Sean here with the TSOD channel, and I'm back with another live stream event. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Getting started a little bit later than I wanted to. Just having some technical difficulties, as always, when it comes to electronics and everything else. But hey, we got another awesome live stream today, December 28th on Sunday. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in case you don't tune into the channel between now and then. So today we're going to be talking about several things. And I think it's not just, California stuff. It's also like some Supreme Court cases that are coming up, as well as some of the stuff going on with Venezuela. I like to keep track of, what's going on around the world, military news, things like that. So it hopefully should be a fun-filled show. The chat is up and running, just in case you guys want to hit me up, discuss some of the topics that we're talking about today. Please let me know if, for whatever reason, the audio or video is cutting in and out. Again, I was having some technical difficulties earlier, but I think I worked the kinks out, so I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Let's kind of get started here. Let me get everything going with the stream, see who's tuned in. So we're going to start off with California Assembly Bill 1163. Unfortunately, it's been signed into law, and it's going into effect pretty much here on the 1st, of January. Let me switch over here. I don't know. For some reason, one of the little things is kind of large here. Hopefully I can kind of make it a little bit smaller for you guys. Give me a second here just to fix this. Let's see here. I don't know, is that little box bugging you guys? Let me know. Okay, that's probably why it was so large. Okay, anyway, it's gone now. So we're talking about 1163, and that law is going to kind of wreak havoc for California firearms owner, law-abiding citizens that want to exercise their fundamental Second Amendment right. They want to get accessories and parts and be able to build firearms the way the Constitution, basically allowed it for them to do. Now, with this new bill, 1163, it imposes a ton of restrictions on parts and accessories such as pistol grips, stocks, compensators, what else? Different shrouds and handguards, obviously like magazines. Obviously in California, you got the 10-round magazine cap there. While that there is a lawsuit in effect, but there's just a stay on that. So 10-round cap is in effect. And different components for weapons, whether it's pistol, rifle. There is no definitive list as far as I can see on what those centerfire action components are. I know what action components are, but does that creep into other things? It affects CNC, 3D printed things, parts and accessories. There's going to be a new address verification, as well as identity verification that these parts manufacturers are going to have to implement on their site for you to be able to buy parts offline. I don't know how they're going to do it. Some of them are working through it. They're figuring it out, but it's going to be a slow process. There's going to be some kinks, some bumps in the road to be able to get through 1163. I'm sure there's going to be some challenges as well. Let me take you guys on over to the CRPA. So it's California Rifle Pistol Association. Their website, they released a bulletin. I covered this on my previous stream. Also covered it on just a video that I did as well, talking about this. And CRPA put out a pretty good bulletin, in my opinion, about this. Just kind of giving you a breakdown of like what the law really entails. What is the text? What is the meat and potatoes of the text? The letter of the law as is, and then they interpreted it. And I thought they did a really, really, really good job. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. So you can see this information bulletin here by CRPA. talks about, you know, different bills and kind of what it entails. Let's see. So they basically summarize it down here. Where is it? I don't know. I had it. Find it for you guys. It's rolling too fast. Okay, here it is. Based off of that new law that's going into effect here, all these different things that you guys see right here are affected by. It's not to say that you cannot buy them, right? But it imposes an additional step or burden for you to be able to purchase those things legally. Now, it does flat out ban the sharing of 3D printer files, you know, discussing them, sharing them online, things like that. There are some little nuances to, you're still able to actually print your own, you know, grip or 3D printed firearm frame in a sense, and you're still able to get it registered, but there's a limit on that as well. But you're not able to share the files for people to be able to get a hold of and start doing it on their own. It's really weird. Again, just another sort of hiccup in the road there for California, right? California can't win. And you know, a lot of people talk about California. It's like, oh, you guys are always voting for these laws. Like, we don't vote for them. It's the legislature, the elected officials, right, that are supposed to be working on behalf of us as the citizens, residents of California. They're the ones sort of unilaterally putting in these. They're the ones unilaterally putting in these laws. So it's really not necessarily the citizens that are voting for a lot of this stuff. So, you know, I always try to correct people. It's like, I didn't vote for that. Give me a second here. Let me fix something. This one thing's going. Hopefully that fixes it. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this new California bill, guys. Let me see what else. I want to touch on some of these Supreme Court cases coming up, because I think, or I'm pretty sure, that the Supreme Court is scheduled to hear a couple of key cases coming up here pretty soon. And one of them involves, I think it's marijuana users, on whether or not, you know, convicted felons or whatever, being able to get their gun rights back. And there's another one as well. I had it written down here. Give me a sec. The chat's up and running, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking on some of these things. 1163. Doing some research for you guys. I want to pull up some more information about these Supreme Court cases. Let's see. It's actually 1263. I don't know why. So for some reason, I had 1163 in my head, but it's AB 1263. Yeah, so it goes into effect in January. Let's see about some of these Supreme Court cases coming up here. Let's see. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, guys, to the channel. Got some new content dropping tomorrow. A brand new video. It's a review video of a product that I think you guys would like. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. What was this? I don't know, I had a bookmark somewhere. Gotta find it. And oh, here we go. This is what I'm going to show you guys. Okay, so a couple of key 2A cases coming up here. Okay, let's see here. So potentially in June, we could be seeing another Supreme Court case come up, and Garland versus Vanderstock. So basically, any day now, or at least for the new year, whenever the Supreme Court gets back in session, we could look at that one. So that one is the lawsuit against the ATF and the ATF's sort of overreach when it came to the ghost gun rule. And it looks like the Supreme Court might be taking that one up, and they may be deciding on that. So that will definitely affect what certain federal agencies can do in terms of just coming up with their own laws. What else? We've got U.S. versus Rahimi. That one should be coming up sometime next year. That's another Supreme Court Second Amendment case. Basically, it's a disarmament of, whether or not you have a criminal conviction, regardless. I'm guessing this is nonviolent criminal conviction, and whether or not you should be able to still carry and use firearms. So what else do we have here in terms of rulings coming up? Let's see here. Bonta versus Boland. So if you don't know who Rob Bonta is, he's the Attorney General of California. Looks like that case is still working its way through the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, where judges are going to review that. And the 1 in 30 purchase limit, looks like that one got shot down. It looks like California is appealing that one. Who knows if that one's going to come back, but they try to implement this law that basically said you can only get one firearm in 30 days. That was ruled unconstitutional, and it got reversed. So it looks like the state's trying to appeal that one. What else? What do we got coming up? Oh, this one's actually very important. This one that should be heard by the Supreme Court sometime next year is the Wolford versus Lopez case, and that's the Hawaii gun law challenge. Okay, so if you don't know, Hawaii's trying to implement this law where you basically can't carry, concealed carry, open carry, whatever they have in the state, basically trying to ban it outright. And I think they're even trying to go as far as saying that even on certain private property, you can't carry a weapon there as well. So this is a big 2A case that once the Supreme Court hears it, I think it's going to really kind of set a precedent for a lot of states that may be trying to, basically limit that law-abiding U.S. citizens should be able to carry. So we'll see if the Supreme Court, what they decide on sometime next year, hopefully. Who knows? I think oral arguments are set to be heard January 20th, as far as from what I'm reading. And again, I talked about the other case, U.S. versus Hemani. So that's the drug user gun ban. The Supreme Court granted cert on that, and we'll also hear the oral arguments in January of 2026. So yeah, that one's gonna be big, because I think that U.S. versus Hemani case will also sort of bleed over into, whether or not some of these, restraining orders, whatever the case is or the crime, whether or not you can, basically arbitrarily be disarmed based on a restraining order or nonviolent criminal conviction. So I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know how the Supreme Court is going to rule on that one. I have no idea, guys. Let me see. Chat is up. We'll say what's up in the chat. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this. All right, start a poll. Do you think the Supreme Court should I frame this? Let's see here. Rule in favor of the state or the plaintiff. And actually, I'm gonna just shorten this down. That's like way too long. I'll just make it as like, how do you think the Supreme Court's going to rule in this Hawaii gun carry case? All right, guys, that poll is live. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the chat if you guys want to comment on any of these issues, whether it be 1263 or any of these Supreme Court cases coming up. Let's see what other 2A cases are coming up. So Duncan versus Bonta. Duncan versus Bonta is one that a lot of California folks are very interested on. Because I want to say that one, Duncan versus Bonta, that's the assault weapon case, and I think that one will affect not only magazine capacity but the semi-automatic weapon or potential assault weapon ban. So I don't know. I don't know when that's going to be heard. Some people are saying possibly late next year, could be early 2027. I think what the Supreme Court's doing right now is they're trying to just let a lot of these cases play out, and from there they just let them work their way up to them in the Supreme Court, and then from there they will hopefully make a final ruling that will basically affect the U.S. or the country for years to come, right? Because that is like the highest court in the land. And once the Supreme Court, says something, like, for the most part, that is it. Like, the lower courts have to abide by that. So this Duncan versus Bonta, California assault weapons, magazine capacity, lawsuit, it's working its way up, but I don't think it's going to make its way to the Supreme Court anytime soon, guys. But the Hamani and the Wolford versus Lopez cases, those are set to be heard sometime early next year. And I don't know, who knows? We may get a decision on them sometime next summer. No idea. No idea, guys. What else? What else we got on Garland versus Vanderstock? Talked about that. That's that ATF case where basically the ATF is like, they basically came up with this rule, not really a law, it's not a law because it hasn't been voted on by Congress, but they came up with this rule about the ghost guns or whatever. So that's being challenged. The Supreme Court might hear that sometime late next year. So if the ATF wins in that case, it basically allows agencies to have more power to regulate more things by rule instead of by law. But most likely the Supreme Court will uphold that. Hey, these agencies can't arbitrarily just create rules out of nowhere and, you know, have that be the law of the land, because it was not signed into law, was not voted on. What else? So there's another 2A case coming up, and this is Range versus Attorney General. The Supreme Court may hear this one, and this is the one I was kind of talking about. I kind of mixed up the marijuana drug use or nonviolent felon. Or no, it's nonviolent. It's the marijuana drug use and still being able to own a firearms. That's the one that's coming up next year. The other one that may be granted cert and may be heard by the Supreme Court is the nonviolent felons being permanently banned from owning guns. They may hear that one and they may make a ruling on it. I don't know. I think that the Supreme Court has kind of, you know, rinsed their hands and has like backed off of that for a very long time, not wanting to touch it and wanting to leave it in the hands of the states to sort of make up whatever state laws they want to. But a lot of times in many of these states, such as California, a lot of these lawmakers basically just come up with whatever laws they want, and with many times disregarding the Second Amendment, right, and the Constitution. So, all right. If you guys don't have any questions on the 2A cases at the Supreme Court or 1263, let's see here. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff going on in Venezuela, right? So I was on X the other day, and I think there was 2 ships that got boarded out there in the Caribbean, right? There's a huge military buildup out there right off the coast of Venezuela. You know, President Trump has said that he wants Maduro to step down, and he's assembled quite a large naval force to basically enforce an oil embargo on the country of Venezuela, right? To put some pressure on Maduro to step down. So I was watching a couple videos on some of the shipboarding that was going on some of these tankers, and it looks like some of them were conducted by looks like the Coast Guard as well as the Marines as well, and it looks like the Navy might have been a part of one of them. So just with my military background and some of the stuff that I've done, I know that these ship boardings are very, very high risk, right? Even if it's not opposed and the ship's crew isn't fighting back, either landing on the ship or fast roping in or climbing onto it, whatever, there's a lot of risk involved with trying to take over a giant, massive, large moving ship, you know, out there in the middle of the ocean. So I got a couple videos. I think this is of the first shipboarding. I'll switch it over for you. I got a video here to play for you guys. I don't know. I like to follow world news and military news and what's going on around the world, because at any point in time it can affect, you know, what we do here in the U.S. So here's a video clip of one of the shipboardings of one of those Venezuelan oil tankers out there in the Caribbean, and as you can see, looks like they did a helicopter assault force, and the guys fast roped onto the main deck of the ship, and I have no idea what branch conducted the shipboarding. But most likely it was the Coast Guard. It could have been Marines, Navy, who knows. But here you can see a video right there of that helicopter putting guys onto the ship so they can kind of take over. Now these ships, these oil tankers, they've been under U.S. sanctions for a while now of, you know, transporting oil that helps the Maduro regime and some of the, you know, the narco stuff that they've been involved with for a while now. So that is just one of the clips. So I think there was 2 ships that they've taken down so far. It might be actually a third. And the last reports that I heard was that there was a third ship that they were looking to do, looking to board. And I guess they needed more resources or something like that. But I mean, this thing has the potential to escalate for sure. You can only board so many ships of like a sovereign country before things start to escalate into the realm of being opposed, right? Versus them just allowing you to take over their ships, take their oil, and whatever the case may be. So yeah, this is more footage of one of those oil tanker seizures out there in the Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela. Let's see. I think I have another video for you guys. So, oh, there we go. So this, I believe, is the second clip, or the second ship that those guys took over. And this one's in color. It's during the day. Got guys fast roping down pretty low. Looks like the helo crew was able to keep that thing nice and stable. They practice for this stuff all the time. And you can see the guys boarding the ship, and they're moving to, you know, we call it in the military the key spaces, to be able to regain control of you know, the key spaces of the ship. So I don't know where this goes. I think it's going to continue. I think President Trump said it's going to continue, so we just got to see where that goes. But I like to, you know, keep my eye on what's going on around the world, militarily, not just 2A stuff, but whatever's going on around the world. I've got another clip for you guys that I want to show you. Let me see if I can get it up and going. I mean, this clip was absolutely crazy. I don't know if some of you guys have seen it. It's the one where this dude, this kid, he looks like a pretty young kid. He gets detained in Walmart, and so they got him detained, whatever little holding area of Walmart, you know, Walmart security or whoever's got him there for suspected shoplifting or whatever. And a police officer comes to apprehend this kid, and this kid pulls out a gun on this police officer, and it's pretty crazy, right? So let me see if I can find that for you guys real quick. I think I have a clip somewhere around here. Yep, but the while I'm looking for that, again, the chat is up and going. Let me know what you guys think. See several people tuning in. Let me see. All right. Okay, I think I found the clip for you guys. I'm going to switch it over for you right now. This is pretty wild. For police officer, whoever, law enforcement responding to a suspected shoplifter, you never expect this, but you know, it's something that you definitely got to keep in the back of your head. And I don't know, it's wild. So let me show you guys real quick. Let's switch over here and take a look. All right, so
55.
Kind of leans, so whoa. So I'll pause it. You see he kind of leans over right there. I'm guessing that this is a point where police officer, you know, comes in, sort of announces himself, and he's getting ready to take this dude into custody. And you see him sort of lean back there, and that should have been like a red flag right off the bat, a huge indicator for that police officer to kind of get eyes on this dude. And he sees him start to be shifty. We already know, like, he's suspected of being a shoplifter. He sees him leaning around. Probably knows he hasn't been searched yet, but he has no idea what's about to come next. So let me play this for you guys. This is points the gun. Man, good. I'll pause it right there. I'll back it up for you guys. Like this cop, like he instinctively, he draws his service weapon, trains it on this kid. He totally could have plugged this kid. Like, you know, he had him. He totally had everything right there. Kid pointed a weapon at him, a gun, deadly force, and you know, he was kind of well within the rights to be able to use this, because this kid could totally have killed him, but he didn't. He, as you can see here, the manager, he's wrestling around on. Good on the police officer for not overreacting with this young woman here, as well as this guy here, and just kind of sort of clearing the area, getting control of this kid.
Give us your hands now.
Whether it's in the military. Worst case scenario.
Don't touch him. Do not touch anything.
I'll replay that for you guys that are tuned in right now. Really crazy, actually. Really crazy situation.
Hey! No!
Luckily it didn't.
Get back! Need help!
I don't know what kind of charge. I don't know. Is this kid gonna get an attempted murder charge or some sort of assault with a deadly weapon, brandishing fire? I have no idea, but I mean, that's just dumb. It really is dumb. I don't know what this kid was thinking. Like, he somewhere probably in his 20s. He grows up, lives his life, and this is kind of how he wants to go out in like a Walmart sort of, I don't know, Walmart room, pulling a gun on a police officer. That's crazy. But appreciate you guys tuning into the show. I'm going to try to do these live streams hopefully once a week. If I can get all the little technical details figured out with audio and everything like that. That's why we started a little bit late, but I hope you guys like the live streams. We're going to be covering more 2A news, more stuff, local stuff, California, Supreme Court stuff coming up, stuff going on around the world, such as Venezuela, things like that. So yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to wrap up the stream here pretty soon, unless anybody's got questions. They want to hit me up or want to discuss a specific topic for their state. It's not just California. I mean, a lot of these Supreme Court 2A cases are going to affect, you know, multiple states, right? States that have a bunch of restrictions and stuff like that. So, but I got more content coming out on YouTube. The giveaway is going right around the 31st, right before the new year. So you got a couple more days to enter the win. The giveaway, I'm giving away a TSOD hoodie as well as a beanie. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel and you automatically get entered to win that. If you're an international subscriber and you win, you got to pay for your own shipping. But if you're in the US, it's going to get shipped out to you free. So make sure you guys subscribe. I'll be giving away more stuff. A bunch of different companies have been reaching out to, you know, sponsor me and send me different products. So once I review a lot of those products, you know, I plan to just do giveaways to you guys, subscribers, the members, and sort of get back to y'all. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this stream. Appreciate everybody kind of tuning in with me. Again, try to do these updates hopefully regularly, but we'll see how they go. And that's all I got for you guys on this live stream. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share this video. I'll see you again soon on the TSOD channel. Peace.